Chelsea suffer their fourth defeat this season with a 2-0 defeat away at Ipswich Town. And this was such a controversial game, especially considering that Chelsea were hard done by an initial referee decision that saw Delap dive and actually receive a penalty that was not a penalty. So you can also say that this was just that one game. Now, Chelsea average position in the first half, you can see it there. And most importantly, what you notice is that there was lack of width, especially from the left-hand side, because Marc Cucurella, who was playing as a left-back, was playing slightly deeper, even though he was the one who was tasked to generate the width down the left. You can see the crowding in the center, especially the position of Felix and the position of João Felix and Palma. In the second half, you can see after the introduction of the substitution, again, the left-hand side is quite stifled, and you can see the right-hand side, they have a lot of width and a lot of height when it comes to actually attacking the opposition's a defensive third. Looking at the threat during the game, and you can see that Ipswich Town had better quality of chances, while Chelsea did not have any better quality of chance in this game. So what really happened? Before we even start our analysis, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Now, Chelsea again. I don't know what happened that Chelsea's fluid attack just became toothless overnight, but that seems to what has happened in this game. Now, Chelsea throughout this game lined up in the 3-1-6 structure with João Felix playing as the left half space, Palma in the right half space, while Enzo Fernandez will push in that second striker role. Now, this structure was quite unique, with Ipswich Town matching Chelsea in a 5-3-2, and this 5-3-2 proved to be very difficult for Chelsea to deal with Hutchinson and Delap being on the throat, especially the energy of Delap pressing Chelsea's centre-backs. Now, Chelsea's wide centre-backs in this case were the ones who are generally free, because the three midfielders cover the 3-10s, and it was up to the Chelsea wide centre-backs to play the ball. Now, Colwill was more adventurous down the left and looked to attempt to play there, but Ipswich Town were quite aggressive. Whenever Chelsea progressed into their own midfield third, they immediately went man-to-man approach, pressing Chelsea and denying them any space. And this sometimes created awkward situations for Chelsea, especially Disasi, who whenever he had the ball, he was aggressively pressed and he was the least centre-back comfortable on the ball. And that is how he made the mistake that costed Chelsea the game. Again, you can see Ipswich were not quite scared of forcing Chelsea back, pressing them relentlessly and ensuring that Chelsea always went back to the goalkeeper. And this was before they scored. Now, let's look at Chelsea in possession and identify problems that Enzo Maresca faced whenever Chelsea had the ball that made them look close to toothless against this Ipswich side, and how Maresca really regrets dropping these points. Now, looking at Chelsea build-up play, Jorgensen was quite comfortable with the ball, and Tosin will drop alongside him, with Colwill playing as a pseudo left back and Disasi playing as a pseudo right back. Now, Jorgensen would step out from his goal and look to act as a third centre back, and this was to try and outnumber the press so that Delap could not cover Tosin and Rabiot but have two players. Now, this pseudo back four kind of build-up shape, coupled with Fernandez and Caicedo dropping deep to offer solutions during build-up, made it difficult for Ipswich to press Chelsea. But Delap in particular was quite aggressive and was looking to go and press the goalkeeper and the centre-back at the same time. But this opened up spaces for Chelsea higher up. Now, you can see from this clip the position that Marc Cucurella is picking up. Cucurella has dropped deep, received the ball directly from Levi Colwill, who's under pressure from Hutchinson. And when Cucurella is dropping deep, he's automatically followed. Now, Colwill decided to look to play those balls in the channels. Now, this is where Chelsea's first problem came, because you see, Jackson is the one player who likes to make those runs. Nkunku does not. So even if Colwill played that ball, Chelsea lost the ball. So this made Chelsea just circulate the ball in a horseshoe kind of system, with Colwill looking to find either Caicedo and Fernandes in between the lines. Nkunku's hold-up play was also not quite good, and his runs were not quite well timed. And you can see here, Palmer is dropping deep to look to create play, but look at the position of João Felix and Fernandes, who are supposed to generate that overload. Ipswich Town were also not quite easy to play through, with sometimes even them employing an aggressive press, and in particular Delap really showcased why he was really wanted by Chelsea. Now in this position, Caicedo has received the ball and is looking to play that ball similar to the ball he used to play to Jackson, but this time he wants to play that ball to Nkunku. Plays that ball to Nkunku, but Ipswich Town are able to win the ball off Nkunku, because Nkunku is not a traditional number 9, and his hold-up play is not quite the strongest. So whenever the ball is played into his feet, he probably loses it. Chelsea were aiming to shift the ball onto the right and attempt crosses in the far post. But again, I don't know who invented this tactic, because Chelsea has so poor attacking crosses. So I don't know why Chelsea needs to rely on this. Palmer sometimes will drop deep to receive the ball, but he will be tracked aggressively with Ipswich midfielder, and there were a few players making runs in behind, with cause also Fernandes was dropping deep. Madueke was also not attempting shots, but rather looking to run to the byline and make a cross, where Ipswich Town easily defended these crosses and gave Chelsea corners, which Chelsea failed to utilize. Now, let's look at another thing that Chelsea tried to employ, which are long balls. And attempting to have these long balls without a traditional number 9 is actually not quite worth it. Now, I said again that Colwill attempted to play balls towards the channels, and especially towards the space behind, because Ipswich were playing with a moderate high line to try and compact the space in between, so that Palmer and Felix lacked to operate. But playing these balls in areas where you don't have forwards making run and you have to rely on Cucurella to make run was poor, because Cucurella would not make those runs, and whenever Chelsea attempted those balls, Ipswich will just win the ball back. Now let's look at the out of possession strategy that Enzo Maresca employed while trying to coach Chelsea in this game. Now the out of possession strategy was an aggressive press, with Chelsea moving into a 4-4-2 press, with Nkunku being the one tasked to lead the press. Again, Nkunku will not give you the energy that Jackson will give you in that press. And when you have him and Felix in that press, then you probably have passengers. But again, Ipswich Town were not looking to dominate the ball, because they already had an early lead. Their main aim was to try and catch Chelsea through the counter. Whenever they received the ball, sometimes Chelsea's midfielders will be aggressive. And this showcased one thing that Maresca talked about, and that is Caicedo being tired, because Caicedo was now the one who was the only workhorse trying to cover this. Disasi, on the other hand, was clueless in who he should cover, and look at the position he's occupying. The ball is played towards the right channel. Disasi has been caught out of position, and now Tosin is the one who has to shift across. And now look at Chelsea's backline being opened. Again, why would you play a centre back in a right back position? The pressing. Now, Chelsea's press in this game was okay, though I do believe that Chelsea did not capitalize when they pressed, because sometimes Chelsea won the ball in dangerous situations, but rather looking to progress the ball, they will just return the ball and begin the horseshoe possession kind of football. You can see here, Chelsea are employing a press. Nkunku is leading that press, and Palmer is in behind. Now, Ipswich Town identified that they would play the ball in midfield, especially going long to Delap, who caused a lot of problems to Tosin, again indicating how Tosin is also not quite good enough for Chelsea, because Delap would drop deep, receive the ball, and even sometimes Tosin would win that ball and look to play the ball back to Chelsea. But we saw Delap creating problems. And in some instances, Disasi would also receive the ball and look to progress with the ball forward, and probably play the ball to Palmer, who will now look to create. But again, the way Chelsea overloaded the box was not quite great, and some decision making, especially from players like Felix in this position, was poor, because a simple pass to Nkunku was not played, as he constantly attempted shots when he had no clear route of playing that ball. Now, Chelsea's out of possession phase kind of structure was also exposed, with sometimes Ipswich being able to counter through them quite easily. And this placed Delap in a position where he was going 1v1 with Tosin. Again, I believe Tosin did not handle those situations quite well. And in this case, you see Delap finds himself in a dangerous position because of Tosin's slow pace, and is able to attempt a shot that Jorgensen is able to save. The downfall in form for Chelsea, Maresca attributes it to tiredness, but in my opinion, this is attributed to some key injuries in Chelsea's team. Like Lavia's control in game has been missed. Fofana's presence has been missed. Again, I think the wingers are not quite doing well. They're just attempting to cross rather than to shoot, and this is problematic. Maresca has to get this team back to winning ways. 1 point in 9 games is really dreadful. Hopefully Chelsea can get something this year. Happy New Year, and see you in our next video.